Um, yes, I do. Me.
Why don't you share with the class?
You couldn't see me, but I was raising my hand. So, I actually do. It happened, I think it happened about 4 years ago. I would say about 4 years ago.
Mhm.
And I have a friend who I've been friends with probably for about 15 years now. And so when I say like my friend and I, like, she knew everything about my family, I knew everything about her family. So, I mean, we were best friends, BFS.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And every year, for the holidays, she would always mention how she would be by herself, because she lives by herself. And so she would mention how she would live by herself, and she would be like, Christmas and New Year's, like there would be nobody there. She lives overseas, by the way. And so what I would do, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but I would have her on speaker during the holidays, so
Mhm.
we could like all, so she could participate because I would feel bad that she didn't have anybody for the holidays.
Yeah.
And do you all remember that by
I
any
remember
chance?
that. Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
Okay. So then about 4 years ago, I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago, it was the holidays again, and I kind of like, I think I stopped talking to her. Not that like we stopped talking, it was just, those things that happen with friends that sometimes you just lose touch.
Lose
Mhm.
touch. Yeah.
Right. So it was kind of one of those things, but like we would still keep in touch with each other, like maybe like once or twice a month. And so it was the holidays, and we were driving to the store, and it was my husband, my daughter, and myself. And we were driving, and the daughter is Noodles. We were driving to the store. And she called me. She just happened to call me. And I picked up, and we were having a conversation. And I asked her, I said, so, what do you have any plans for the holidays? Because I know that every year she goes and she watches, they call them a pantomime over there in England, but I guess it's like a play or something, but you know, so I know that every year she does that. So I was kind of like inquiring about that, and she starts telling me, "Oh yes, I'm so busy like always," and she starts telling me all this stuff that she's doing,
Mhm.
and I'm like, "Oh, that's really cool. Like that's awesome," and she's saying like, "Yeah, like she had things to do on the 23rd, 24th, the 25th, and then New Year's, and like she was telling me like it
She had
was
all
like
these
a full
plans.
calendar."
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was saying going on about, buying gifts for some family friends kids, and she was wrapping their presents, like they hired her, I think her friend hired her to do that. But
Mhm.
she was saying, yes, like every year I do this, and I was like, wait, what are you talking about every year? And she goes, yes, like I every year, remember? And so I remember I look over at you guys, and I'm like, are you guys like listening to this? And so I asked her again. I said, wait. What are you talking about? I said, are you saying, like, when did this begin? And she said, what are you talking about? I've done this all the time. I was in shock, and I kept saying, like, no, this is the first year I've ever heard of it. Like, I've
Yeah.
never heard of this before. And she was saying, like, no, yeah, don't you remember? And she was telling me in details, like, so many things of everything that she does, like, everything that she does.
Mhm.
And I was in shock. And I remember that I turned around and I asked you and I asked your dad, like, okay, is it me? Like, because you guys remember this too, right?
Yeah, I remember when you
And
asked that. I was like, oh my god, like, no.
mhm,
I remember her being with us, not physically there, but like she would be there listening.
right. And she's, according to her, nope, that wasn't it. And I couldn't believe it because and it wasn't just me. Also, I mean, because it was your dad remembered, you remembered, and according to her, nope. Every year, like she's always super busy. And then the other weird thing that we would joke around a lot. This was around the same time. This was right about, I think, maybe a couple of weeks before, because she has cats, and she had this one particular cat that, for some reason, out of the blue, this cat, like every time that she would talk to me, the cat would always try to, like, she would say, like, oh my god, like, here she comes, she wants to talk to you. And then it got to the point where she would put the phone up to the cat, and the cat would start to, like, meow and
I
do these
remember this.
sounds, and I would start talking to the cat too. Do you remember
I
that?
do. I
I
remember
I
remember
this.
remember.
that.
Yeah, I remember that that your dad was like, "You're crazy," because I would be here sitting talking to this cat, but this cat would like respond to me. And when that happened with my friend, that I said, "You are not my friend. Like you are not the same person. What are you talking about?" And then we started joking about the cat because she knows that I believe in the Mandela effect, or not that I believe in the Mandela effect, but like I talk about the Mandela effect, I experienced it, or
You've
with
told her
other
the
things.
crazy stories. She knows.
Right. And so she turned around and she was like, "You know what? But it makes sense because I said, okay, you're not my real friend. Which universe are you from? Which planet are you? An alien?" Like and then she would tell me like, "No, you're the alien. You're not mine. You're not my Mita." And and then she said, "But you know what? It kind of makes sense because when did my cat start talking to you? Like when did?" And I was like, "Oh my god, you are so right." Again, we years I had been talking to this friend,
Mhm.
and the cat had never. And then all of a sudden, like the cat was like, and it was so strange because she, according to her, she was like, "This only happens when I talk to you. Like this only happens when you call." So again, I don't know, but that to me was really freaky. To this day, I get freaked out because it's, and I will tell you, I don't know. I know that people change. We all change. I know that I've changed so many times, I understand that. But I will say that our relationship is different. It feels different. I don't know how to explain it. It does
Mhm.
feel different. So that is definitely the freakiest for me. I don't know if it's the freakiest, but it's just because it's more personal. All the other
Yeah.
ones, it's like, okay, well maybe I'm misremembering, blah blah blah. But this one is, personal.
Yeah, I forgot about that the cat would do that all the time. I remember. And it was so weird because I would ask you too, like,
Yeah,
when did the cat started doing that? Because I remember that your friend every now and then would try and get you to talk to the cat, but the cat would just
yeah,
walk away. Like she would even say it that she
yes,
didn't want to say hi.
yeah, exactly. And that's another, like, I'm not a big cat person. Like I love dogs and I love animals. I like cats too. But for me, going to that and then all of a sudden talking to the cat all the time, like that was super weird. You know.
Definitely.
What about you guys? Do you all have any personal ones?
Not that I could think of, no.
Maybe
You
you just
noodles?
don't remember.
I'm trying to think. I know that I have like a whole freaking list, but I'm drawing blanks.
Hmm.
Like you and I have talked about this a lot that you're not my mom. But
Oh. 100%. That's true. You and I have a lot.
Yeah, like it goes like
You're right.
there's a lot of like memories that I have that just seems a little bit off from.
Right.
But
Well, go ahead, sorry.
no, no, you're good. I was just gonna say that like I know when it comes to like memory, like I'm not the best at remembering things, but
Mhm.
there are some things that like that happened to us recently that I was like, oh, it happened like this, and you were like, no, it happened like this, and that was just crazy.
Mhm. Right.
You know,
For real.
I don't know if that made sense.
Well, because with the Mandela effect, what we talked about, this is the second part, right? This is part 2. We talked, if you guys are interested in seeing the first part, we explained everything about what the Mandela effect is and everything. But I will say, do you guys have like, because I reached a limit. I reached a limit. So from the moment that I heard and I learned about the Mandela effect to, oh God, I think it was last year. I don't know. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago, but I think it was last year that I heard of this one Mandela effect that just it was the last straw for me. I thought, you know what? No, I can't. This is ridiculous. Um, I don't know if you guys have one, but I have the mind blowing Mandela effect for me so far, and that is that has to do with the song. So let me tell you a little bit about this. I first heard about this Mandela effect through another podcaster, right, or another YouTuber,
Mhm.
and when I heard it, I said, "No way, no way! I know for a fact that this is wrong." And I was convinced that when I was going to look up the lyrics, I was going to be right. And this song it's an old song. It's from I think is in the 80s. Actually, hold on. I should have it here. When did it come out? Oh, 92, I think. It came out in 90. It might have been 92. I don't know. So early
So
90s.
Mhm.
the 90s.
Yeah, early 90s. And it's by Billy Ray Cyrus,
Mhm.
Achy Breaky Heart.
Ooh.
Now, let me tell you, I am old enough. I might not sound it, but trust me, I am old enough to remember when this song first came out. I was a youngin' myself. But I remember listening to this song was on rotation like almost 24/7. It was everywhere. And keep in mind, back in the early 90s, it wasn't like today. Like today there's options. We have our Apple Music, we have YouTube, we have Spotify. Like there's so many listening platforms.
Mhm.
Back then there wasn't. Back then it was like the radio. That's it. So they played it. This song was overplayed. And um in my mind, I would always sing it, and I remember this freaking song because they freaking played it. And not only did they play it all the time in English, but then they did a Spanish version. And the Spanish version, till this day, has not stopped playing. So with that said, those lyrics that I remember, the oh my gosh, what is it called? The main lyrics, the chorus, the way
Chorus.
that well, wait, do you guys remember this song?
Yeah, I remember.
I think I remember a little bit of it.
Do you already know about the Mandela effect, don't you, Noodles?
Yes, I do.
Do you, Musica, by any chance?
I want to say yes because I do remember you like complaining about it. Yes.
Man, I was gonna, yeah, I complained about, I was loud about it because I cannot
Yes, you were.
have this. Okay, so the way that I remember it, and most people remember it, it says, "Don't break my heart, my achy, breaky heart. I just don't think you'll understand." That's how I remember it. That's how we sang it for years and years and years and years and years and years.
Mhm.
So when I heard that that is not the lyrics, again, I said, no, 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 no. So I go back and I had to look up the lyrics and sure shit. Sorry, pardon my French. Those are not the lyrics.
Oh,
Do you
what?
guys remember it like that too?
Yes, I do.
I do remember, yeah.
Okay, so now, so the lyrics are, but don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, I just don't think he'd understand. And it's like, what?
What do you
That doesn't make any
mean?
sense. That doesn't make
And then I was like, no freaking way. Now, ladies, in Spanish, the Spanish version literally was translated like almost verbatim. So in Spanish, it's like, no rompes más mi pobre corazón. Like literally, don't break my heart. That's literally what the song says in Spanish. And it
Yeah.
still says that, by the way. If you go and you look for the Spanish version, that's what it says.
Mhm.
But wait, there's more.
Oh no.
So not only that, okay, not only that, but also, in Hannah Montana, obviously, Billy Ray was, the dad and everything.
Mhm.
There's an episode in Hannah Montana where he is writing the song, like if he's like composing it,
Mhm.
and he sings it. And won't you believe it? The lyrics that he sings are "Don't break my heart." It's on Hannah Montana. He doesn't say "Don't
Wow.
tell my heart." He literally says "Don't break my." Like he sings that.
That's crazy. I didn't know that part.
So how? Yeah, like how is it? I'm gonna look it up to see what episode it is, and then I'll put it like on our Discord or something. Because that to me, it's like okay, that's proof. That is proof right there.
Mhm.
I just think I when I heard about this, I could not wrap my mind around this. I could not. I'm sorry. It was just too crazy for me, and I gave up. Yes, you're right. I bitched and moaned about it. I'm still doing it.
sense.
I'm like, we're
You
still
haven't
doing it. We're
stopped.
still here.
Yeah, I'm still. It's what? It's because it's a again. It's such a what are those called? Like such a hardcore. Is it a hardcore memory? I don't know.
I would say yeah, like a hard.
Or am I saying that wrong? I feel like
Yeah.
I'm saying that wrong.
No, I feel like that's right. Could be wrong.
Okay, so it's like you know what I mean? It's something that like I grew up with listening. This
Mhm.
song, they put it in weddings, quinceañeras, parties. They would play it all the time for years. It wasn't a year, it wasn't a season.
Mhm.
Again, this isn't like today because today's songs will be like hot for a season and then you won't hear about it again.
Unless
Really,
you live in
that's
our
how it is
house and then
now.
we put everything on repeat.
Yeah, but all our songs are like old. No? Oh my gosh. But normally that's how it is now. But back then, again, you didn't unless you bought like the CD or whatever. Okay,
Mhm.
but other than that, you were stuck with radio, whatever would be playing on the radio, and they overplayed the song. And like I said, even and if you're Hispanic like us, they didn't just overplay it in English; they overplayed it in Spanish. That it's still played to this day because there's like a whole dance to it.
Okay.
So yeah, that is my last straw. Because from then, I think I stopped. After that one, I kind of stopped paying attention to them. anymore. Like
Mhm.
I'll hear new ones, and then I'll just be like, "Oh, look, there's another one." Like that, it broke me. That's to the level that happened. I went into acceptance.
You're just like, okay, I'm just gonna let it be from now on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, okay, this is the world we live in. Things are constantly changing. But what do y'all think? Like, do you guys have a mind blowing Mandela effect that to this day you guys are just like you cannot believe it?
No.
Mystica, do you have one?
I just said no.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you.
Well, for me,
What about you, Noodles?
there's actually two Mandela effects that I heard that I'm like, they don't sound right to me. But it's like
Okay.
I'm on the other side of it. Well, let me tell you what they are first before. One has to actually have to do with Pokemon, and it's the main Pokemon that's always there. It's Pikachu, and in this Mandela effect, it says that the tip of his tail was black, but now if you look back, it's just all yellow.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that one
Mhm.
I remember. Yeah.
you heard that one.
You're gonna what?
No, I do remember that one. No, yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I heard that one, I was like, it wasn't. I remember him having a like the bottom of his tail being black, not the tip of his tail. So like where it connects to his body, that's where I remember it being black. But it's not. I think it's
Mm.
brown now, if I'm not mistaken. But to me, I was like, that's
Yeah.
Brown?
yeah,
That is so weird.
yeah. Like it's weird. I don't know what the heck, but that's one that I was kind of like, ah, I don't like that. They're messing with my childhood.
Yeah.
The other one that I heard about was about Curious George, the monkey. But
Mm.
Oh my god, yes.
this one says that Curious George had a tail, but you look at him now and he doesn't.
Okay, so I think we talked about this way back when we first
Mhm.
heard of it, and my Curious George did have a tail. So the one right now does have a tail?
No, it doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
But that's the thing. For me,
Oh,
I
okay.
remember him without the tail. I don't remember him ever
Right.
having a tail. And I don't remember. I
I
remember
remember
that I
him
would
with
always
the tail.
question it. I would always question why he never had a tail because I was like, he's a monkey. He's supposed to have a tail, but he just he never had one. Not in my universe.
Right.
You know, it's just
I
weird.
remember him with the tail. Because I think at one point, I don't remember if one of our cousins or a friend of ours had Curious George. And I remember playing with the tail all the time whenever we go visit them. Like, I would just play with the tail.
Yeah,
Crazy.
exactly.
I don't remember him having a tail.
And this is why we joke around sometimes and we're like, you're not, you're not the one that I remember.
Yup. Which universe are you from? You're not from mine.
Yeah. So, okay, ladies, so here's the thing, right? We've discussed several Mandela effects. We talked way back of how it began. We've talked about the most famous ones from
Mhm.
the Bernstein Bears, Forrest Gump, Fruit of the Loom, Star
Mhm.
Wars, which, by the way, I did say that because there's several for Star Wars. Just like I said about the Wizard of Oz, there are several for Star Wars too. There's the Luke I Am Your Father.
Mhm.
The one I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but again, I grew up where I mean everybody I guess Star Wars, you know. So it's like you it's not like I didn't know. It's not like I don't know Star Wars, but I remember seeing what is it? RP330 or P23 whatever his name is.
The little robot.
CP3.
CP30. No, 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 but not
Mhm.
C. Yeah, CP30 is not the little one, right? That's the
no, okay. You mean no,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
C
it's
R2D2 is
C3PO.
the no, yeah,
Yeah,
R2D2
R2D2
is
is the
the
little
little
one.
is the little
Right,
one, yeah.
okay.
You almost had it mixed up there, damn it.
Right, no, but I knew I had it right. I was just double checking the name. I just wasn't sure about the name. But
Gotta
anyways,
double check your facts.
yeah, I will also God, I will die on that hill where it's like, no, he was all gold. Like he was all gold, and now oh he has like a silver leg.
Oh yeah, I
No,
remember that.
that is not.
Mhm.
That's another. That was a big one for me too.
I forgot
The
about that
Luke
one.
Armored
Damn.
Father. Yes, that one. I was like, no, because I remember that when I was in school, all the kids, especially all the boys, had their action figures. And I remember that because I always liked the idea, the concept of CP30. That's the name, right? CP30. Am I saying that right?
I think so.
I
I
feel
think so.
like
At
I'm
least
saying it
C3PO.
wrong. Is it
C3PO, yeah.
C3PO? Okay. Because I always thought that was the coolest thing to be able to have a, like, oh my god, in the future there's going to be a robot. Like, so I would pay attention to the robot or android, whatever it is. So that's another one. But anyway, so we discussed all of that. But let me ask you this.
Mm.
Where, first of all, do you ladies, what do you guys think the Mandela effect is? Do you even think that the Mandela effect really does exist? And if yes, what do you think it is? What are your theories on it? Or if not, then what is going on? Are we all collectively going crazy?
Okay, so I have a theory on that. Well, kind of like a TV show brought me that theory. And I know it's canceled now. I'm not sure if you can still see it. I remember I watched it on Netflix. It has 2 seasons, I believe,
Okay.
and it's called Inside Job. And what with that,
Yes.
it's pretty much like the whole theories of like everything. The reptilians, the sheeple, the
Sheeple.
oh, is this what was this stage? Was it a simulation? Is there like a robot? Are they real? Are they not real? Things like that.
Mhm.
And one of the last episode, I think, yeah, on season 2, which was like I think it was like a 2-part episode, was about the Mandela effect. And what happened was that the main girl, like her dad, like he's one of the main ones who accidentally first started the Mandela effect. And
Oh
because
my gosh.
how it happens, like him and his friend, like because the guy, because like um when he realizes like oh shit something's happening, he's fucking with that, um and he tells them all like what it is that like what happened was that him and his dad, not him and his dad, sorry, him and the girl's dad when they were younger, like they were trying to make a portal because their theory was that there are alternate dimensions, but there's no way for us at the time to connect. So, but they wanted to prove maybe there was, or like at least make a portal to like a window. But what they
Mhm.
accidentally did was they actually did jump into another universe. And the only reason
Mm.
they remembered was because at the time they were close to the machine, and again, like they said, the universe was pretty much the same, but with still differences. And in the TV show, he said in their universe there was 2 moons. That the he made a joke and say, "Oh my god, like women's menstruals were much longer than they were, and that because they had 2 moons, the tide was different, the ecosystem
Holy
was slightly more
shit.
different." Like he said, like it was like he says it was a hell of a lot more different. Like he's describing the differences a bit.
Right.
And because they did that, they got recognized by the government back then. And at
Mhm.
first, they were thinking of wanting to like imprison them, saying that they were crazy. But the girl's
Mm.
dad, he convinces them, saying like, "We're able to build this by accident. Imagine the things we could actually build for you on purpose."
Mm.
So they did, but they deemed it too dangerous for them to have that. So at first they locked it away, but then the dad steals it back. But the guy's like, "No, because we can't keep jumping. Because if we do, there that's the thing too that he said, like the more you keep jumping it every single time, he says, you know, you're not just like fucking with the timeline. You're like coming close to accidentally having them all merge at once, and if you do, something bad will happen. He's not sure what, but they're gonna. But there says that we're gonna guess it's like the end of the world, like oh,
Mm.
the end of the universe in total.
Mhm.
So
Hmm.
he convinces the dad that they should probably destroy it because at the time they made two. They had
Hmm.
to have two at the same time,
Right.
and they did destroy one, but the other one they just couldn't destroy it for some reason. So they instead bury it out in the middle of the desert, where it can never be found. Only they two know where it's at.
Okay.
And again,
Oh
the
God.
reason that they're going towards it because like every time they go near it, little things are changing. Like the TV show Shazam. He said like, oh no, I remember it being called Kazam. Like he says,
Yeah.
he tattoos it on his body. He says like if you manage to write it somewhere or like tattoo it something like something come up somewhat permanent.
Right.
He says
It'll
like for
stay.
some yeah, he says for some reason that actually makes it stay.
Huh.
Huh.
Yeah, so he says like, and one of the teammates like he keeps doing that on his poster. He keeps writing things that are like inconsistencies, like oh, like instead of this, it was this instead. So
Right.
when they finally meet the dad, he the reason he's messing with the timelines or jumping from universe to universe is because he's trying to get back his family. The daughter convinces him to like shut it off and kind of revert back to their timeline, um, so it wouldn't all collide. And I think that my theory, because when I first saw that, I was like, you know what? I kind of like that. That actually would make a lot more sense. Like if someone was to like accidentally either jumping from a different timeline or just messing with something by accident, I could see why then something would change.
Mm.
Mhm.
I think that's it. I'm not sure if it's just jumping in general or them changing something like back, like because again, like he said, like the the guy, like they said, like when they first made it, it didn't have to be them specifically, like for how long ago they went back or forward. He says as long as they did one thing differently, it changes everything,
Hmm.
Mm.
and it could be like whenever. So that's what my theory is. It's like yeah, like I think it's somebody either jumping or testing something, and it just fucks up with the rest of the other timeline.
Hmm. I could see that.
So you think that it's as so it is like multiple timelines? Is that what you're saying? Like that's your
Yes,
theory?
yeah, I think it's like multiple timelines where maybe for a second we merge with others of ourselves, or like we get shifted with them, like we trade places, but because again, like things are like pretty fairly similar, just like a few differences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I for sure. I mean, uh, that's the thing with the Mandela Effect, right? Like, there's so many theories, and I need to watch. I only watched the first season of that show, which was so freaking good. I need to watch the second one, but I mean, I just spoiled it already for me. I'm just
Sorry.
kidding.
No,
So now I'm
I
not gonna
hate
go
that
watch
they
it.
canceled.
Joking, joking. Did she just got cut off? Because I can't hear her.
No, I
Ooh.
stopped talking. Sorry, I thought you guys could hear me.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
I was like, what?
What about you, Noodles? Do you have a theory?
um. Well, way back when, I did hear about a machine that was built, and I forget the freaking name of it, but that machine would somehow mess with the timeline. And I don't know, like,
Are you
I,
talking about CERN?
yes, yes,
Is it CERN, like the machine that CERN has, or something like that?
yes, okay,
Hmm.
so you've heard of it.
Yes.
Um, I had the information, and I don't have it now, but I forget, like, how it works or what, but I know that, like, CERN is the one that's, like, causing the Mandela effects.
Hmm.
Somehow, or so I've
That's
heard.
your theory.
Yeah, I believe in is CERN's
I
fault.
believe in CERN.
Oh hell, sir.
CERN knows all.
Oh my god. That was funny. That's the thing, right?
Mhm.
God, I remember when I first heard of it, the Mandela Effect, and my first thought went to the multiverse, right? To the
Mhm.
multi-universe
Of
type of
course.
thing.
Of course.
I think that that's a possibility because I do believe in multiple timelines and all that. I do think that that is real.
Mhm.
So I could see that, and then, but the theory behind the Mandela effect with that, where it goes with the timelines, there's one, I guess there's several, but one that says that we actually, like, depending on what you remember, for example, like me, right, that I remember all the people. I remember the Star Wars one, the Forrest Gump one, like, there's stuff, because like
Mhm.
we said earlier, not every Mandela effect applies to everyone, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So like a certain group of people, like everyone who remembers, that printer paper smelled one way when we were kids, that's just an example. So yeah, so that that group of people, right? Like, we're from an Earth that actually, with Y2K happened, our world ended. That's an example. And so, because like the world ended, like poof, we jump timelines. And then, like, there's people that, oh, it happened in 2012. The world actually ended. Our world actually ended in 2012. And when it ended, we crossed over into this timeline. So that's the theory. That's one theory. And so when I first heard of that, I was like, yes, I could see that because, yes, like, there were so many things that were not from, like, my memories that I could remember that did not match.
They were just not adding up.
Right. And then, what you just said, I heard that one too with CERN, and that's another one that it's kind of like, yeah, okay. Um, but recently, my recent theory is more that I'm leaning more towards we're in a simulation.
Yeah.
Because, look, the only way right now that I guess I could comprehend the Mandela effect, and I guess people could say, like, no, you could, comprehend that it's not real, that it's just your memory. Okay, but it's just a lot. We go back to, like, I'm not even gonna go down that because I do believe in the Mandela effect because, whatever. So I'm leaning more towards simulation. I feel like we are in a simulation because, look, think about it right now, right? When we're playing our games, and I'm gonna say Fortnite, right? Let's say Fortnite.
Mhm.
We're playing Fortnite when we first started playing, and all the updates that Fortnite has had up to this day,
Mhm.
right? When it's a game, you can do that. You have the power to go in and change something in that world, right? That's how a game works.
Yes.
Mhm.
If you're the game master, you're the admin, whatever. I don't know what they're called.
Mhm.
The inventor of the game, you have that power. I mean, we've seen it done. I mean, we play Conan. How many times has Conan gone through changes?
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Now, because what gets me is like things like the Bernstein Bears, right? I mean, there's people like I remember it in the books the way it was spelled, but then you go back and you look at it and it's different. The maps, that's another Mandela effect that I haven't even brought up, but the map of the world is totally different for me, totally different.
Oh, I forgot
Um,
about that one. You're right.
Oh wow, you're right.
How everything
yeah,
changed.
and then the thing is, right, that I have encyclopedias from from 1980. Probably, I don't know, if it was 1980. It was probably published in like 1979 or 78. So I have old books.
Mhm.
You go and you look in those books, and the map looks different. And my mind is kind of like, well, how did they change it?